Hi guys, Fog Gaming here and welcome to Playerunknown's Battlegrounds update 14. In one of the previous updates, frag grenades no longer had a knockback effect. This made the players feel that these frag grenades weren't that effective anymore. Update 14 attempts to bring back the killing power of the frag grenade by buffing its effective range and damage. Frag grenades will now cause lethal damage within 3.5 meters of the explosion, which is 0.9 meters longer than the previous blast radius. From 3.5 meters to 8.5 meters, this grenade will cause moderate damage to your enemies. From 8.5 to 10 meters, this damage will be low, and beyond 10 meters, your enemies will not be affected by your grenades. What you see here is 3.6 meters. This is right outside of the kill zone, and you won't be able to get closer to a grenade without dying. Stun grenades have been improved as well. They will now affect your vision, your hearing, and your ability to shoot accurately. The direct effect occurs if a stun grenade explodes within your 100-degree field of view. Update 14 improves the effective range of the stun grenade to 20 meters. If it explodes within your 100-degree field of view, then you have to be more than 20 meters away from it to avoid the blinding effects. If you happen to be within that distance, then the blind duration will depend on how far you are. The maximum duration is 5.5 seconds and the minimum is 1 second, which will occur at exactly 20 meters. This is the closest that I can get a stun grenade to explode near my face, so this is the longest effect that the stun grenade can cause. I lowered the volume here, but the sound effect lasts much longer than the visual effect. The second stun grenade shows the indirect effect, which I will explain in a second, and the last stun grenade shows how you can play the zone. This means that if you turn away so that it does not explode within your 100 degrees field of view, that you will not suffer from the visual effects. In other words, you can pretty much avoid the stun grenade altogether. The indirect effect occurs if a player is within the 5.5 meters blast radius of the stun grenade, but the explosion does not happen within his 100-degree field of view. The indirect effect has a maximum duration of 3 seconds, and the blinding effect only occurs within 5.5 meters. Enemies can now tell if they have blinded you, because your character will cover his or her face. Spectators who are watching you will also be blinded if you are affected by a stun grenade. You cannot ADS when you're blinded, so keep that in mind. If you cook a stun grenade and it explodes behind you before you throw it, then you will also be briefly blinded and deafened. Molotov cocktails now have new effects as well as an increased damage. The damage is divided into two types. You will cause indirect damage to a player who is standing in the flames. This now amounts to 12.5 damage per second instead of the previous 10 points. Once a player has caught fire, he will take burn damage. This will continue to damage a player even if he has escaped the radius of the Molotov's flames. He will take 10 damage per second and it will keep burning for 4 seconds. A player who is burning will not be able to ADS, so watch out when you're caught in those flames. Your enemies can tell that you're burning because your character model will try to put out the flames using their hands. Update 14 now allows you to spread the flames of a Molotov cocktail further by throwing it on wooden surfaces in houses. You can also do this by throwing another Molotov on top of your first Molotov. Aside from these changes to PUBG's throwable weapons, there are also some weapon rebalances in Update 14. The horizontal and vertical recoil of the Scar-L has been reduced, and it has become a more viable weapon, especially since the other assault rifles had their recoil increased in the previous update and they didn't change anything about those weapons. The M24 received a significant nerf in Update 14. The base damage has been decreased from 88 to 79 points. This is just 4 points higher than a Kar 98K, but the M24 will now spawn anywhere on the map, so you no longer need to get to an airdrop to be able to use it. The Vector will now be easier to find because they increased the spawn rate at the cost of the spawn rate of the UMP. The overall spawn rate of the SMGs will still remain the same. If you like DMRs, then you will now find them more frequently in the game, because their rolled spawn rate has been increased. The attachments have also received small changes in this update. Light grips no longer affect a weapon's basic recoil or recoil recovery speed. It now decreases the recoil of the first shot by 15% and the animation kick reduction has been changed from 30 to 20%. A new anti-cheat system has been introduced as well. This anti-cheat system was developed in-house by PUBG Corp. You will now see a pop-up when you start the client, and the developers recommend that you use the anti-cheat system using the security mode. If you can't do that, you can always use compatibility mode. There are also a few changes and sound improvements in Update 14. The character rendering process has been improved to prevent smaller frame drop issues. Character movement and animation has been optimized so that the frame rate you experience while skydiving with multiple players around you has been improved as well. The netcode has been adjusted to reduce latency, and the speed at which the server transfers data about items, stores and fences has been increased as well. This was done to address the issue where items would spawn late after the player has landed. To resolve some abnormal physics that affect the moving vehicles, the game now updates frames on vehicles and character models more efficiently. There is a new audio option. It's called the head-related transfer function, which simulates 3D dimensional sound for 2-channel headphones. It can be toggled on or off in the options, which you can see here. Keep in mind that this will only affect the sound of enemy gunshots. The volume for Care Package Airplane has also been reduced. Many bug fixes have been implemented in update 14. There was an issue where gun sounds would appear to be lowered after they were hip-fired for an extended duration. This has now been removed. Cheek pads will now always add 10% vertical recoil recovery if it is attached to an SLR. And this will also appear on the in-game tooltip. Stun grenades now blind consistently, regardless of what graphical settings you're using, so we can't take advantage of that anymore. They will no longer bounce around neither after breaking a window. The throwing trajectory indicator is now more accurate for stun grenades. The collision mechanics have been refined so that you won't get stuck while vaulting in certain spots around Urangel. Abnormal collisions in spots around Urangel and Miramar should also be less frequent now, and you will no longer pass through solid objects or through vehicle roofs. Visual glitches in the inventory screen will no longer occur when attaching a choke to your sawed-off shotgun. A few minor changes that this update introduced to this game involves the UI and the leaderboards. A new UI message will appear whenever your healing item cannot be used. Your average swimming distance will also be able to be tracked in your stats, and the total points gained or lost per match has been increased so that the skill difference between players is made more clear. These were all the changes that were introduced in the 14th update of Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. Make sure to use all of the information that you saw in this video on your way to your next chicken dinner, or watch one of these videos to improve your chances even further. If you think that this video was worthy, would you mind giving it a like and maybe even write a comment if you have the time. This was Frog of Gaming, thanks for watching, and I will see you in Battlegrounds.